The arrival. The skies above Montana were crystal clear that autumn morning when Commander Elena Rice spotted it, a glint in the sky that shouldn't be there. At first, she thought it was a satellite reflection, but the object didn't move like any satellite she knew. Control, this is Eagle One. I'm tracking an unidentified object at approximately 80,000 feet. Request confirmation. There was a pause before her radio crackled to life. Eagle One. Control. We're not tracking anything at your coordinates. That's when the object changed. It seemed to shimmer, like heat waves rising from asphalt, and suddenly expanded into view. Elena's breath caught in her throat. Where seconds ago there had been nothing but a mysterious gleam, now hung a massive vessel, sleek and predatory against the blue sky. Control. Object has materialized. I'm looking at what appears to be a spacecraft approximately 2 kilometers in length. I am not hallucinating. Within hours, every telescope and radar system on Earth confirmed what Elena had seen. A spacecraft of unknown origin had appeared in low Earth orbit. Military forces worldwide went on high alert. News channels broadcast continuous coverage. Social media exploded with theories ranging from alien invasion to government conspiracy. At the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, General Marcus Way stood at the center of the storm. The command center buzzed with frantic activity as analysts pored over incoming data. Military personnel coordinated defense responses, and communication officers fielded calls from increasingly panicked government officials. What do we know? Way asked, his voice cutting through the noise. Dr. Samira Patel, the lead analyst, brought up enhanced imagery on the main screen. The vessel appeared approximately 3 hours ago using some kind of cloaking technology. It's maintaining a stable orbit at 320 kilometers. No signals, no radiation spikes, no signs of offensive positioning. Way studied the image. The ship was unlike anything human engineers had designed. It had a dark metallic hull with sleek lines that suggested it was built for speed as well as combat. But something about it struck him as odd. Zoom in on that section, he pointed. The image magnified, and a collective gasp went through the room. Emblazoned on the hull were markings, English letters and numbers. TSV Aurora. Y read aloud. T it is. Terran space vessel. That's impossible, Patel whispered. We don't have anything like this. No nation on Earth has this technology. The red phone on Way's desk rang. The President. Way straightened his uniform and picked up. Mr. President. Yes, sir. We're monitoring it closely. No, sir, no communications yet. Yes, sir, I understand. He hung up and addressed the room. The Security Council is meeting in 1 hour. In the meantime, we're to establish communication if possible, but maintain defensive readiness. All nuclear forces are on standby. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen, the communications specialist, had been working tirelessly since the ship appeared. Sir, we've been broadcasting on all frequencies. If they can hear us, they're choosing not to respond. As if on cue, every screen in the command center flickered. Static washed across displays, then cleared to reveal an image. A woman's face appeared, human, with dark hair streaked with silver, wearing what appeared to be a military uniform unlike any on Earth. This is Captain Ileana Vasquez of the Terran space vessel Aurora, the woman said, her voice carrying an accent that Y couldn't quite place. We come in peace and with urgent purpose. We request immediate dialogue with Earth's unified command. Chen recovered first. This is Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen of Earth's North American Aerospace Defense Command. We're receiving you. The woman, Vasquez, nodded. We need to speak with those in authority. Time is critical. Way stepped forward. I am General Marcus Way. I have direct communication with the President and Security Council. Captain Vasquez, your vessel bears human markings but technology beyond our capabilities. Please explain. Vasquez's expression remained neutral, professional. General Way, this will be difficult to accept, But the Aurora comes from Earth, approximately 90 years in your future. The command center fell silent. Time travel is impossible, Paddle said automatically. Your current understanding of physics would suggest so, Vasquez replied. Circumstances forced our hand. We had no choice but to attempt what was previously thought impossible. Wei's military training kicked in, focusing on practicalities rather than impossibilities. What circumstances? Why are you here? Vasquez's composure slipped slightly, revealing exhaustion and something darker. Fear. We're here to prevent the extinction of humanity, General. In our timeline, Earth comes under attack by an alien force we call the Swarm. First contact is in 18 days. By the time the Aurora was launched on this mission, Earth's population had been reduced from billions to mere millions, and falling rapidly. Wei exchanged glances with his staff. This could be an elaborate hoax or psychological operation. But if it wasn't, we'll need proof, he said firmly. Understood. We're transmitting data packets now. You'll find detailed technical specifications of our vessel, astronomical calculations that can be verified by your scientists, and, she hesitated, personal information about key individuals, including yourself, General, that no foreign entity could possibly know. Chen confirmed the incoming transmission. The data was massive, flowing into NORAD's secure systems faster than should have been possible with current technology. Patel was already examining the astronomical data. This is real-time stellar positioning adjusted for temporal shift. We can verify this independently. An analyst approached Wei with a tablet. Sir, the personal data. It has details about your childhood in Shanghai, your daughter's medical condition that isn't in any public record, even the name of your first pet. Wei felt cold. Either this was the most comprehensive intelligence breach in history, or these people really were from the future. The Security Council convened via secure video conference. Vasquez's image was broadcast to world leaders, who listened with varying degrees of skepticism and alarm as she explained the Aurora's purpose. The Swarm is not like us, she told them. They have no concept of diplomacy, no interest in communication. They're a collective intelligence that expands by consuming resources, including sentient life. Earth is simply their next feeding ground. Why come back in time? Asked the Chinese premier. Why not fight them in your present? We tried for decades, but we started with too little, too late. Vasquez's voice hardened. The Aurora is the last military vessel Earth managed to complete before our largest shipyard was destroyed. We're carrying advanced technology, tactical data, and weapons designed specifically to combat the Swarm. This ship represents humanity's last hope. And you expect us to simply believe this? The Russian president's skepticism was evident. Your arrival could be the prelude to your own invasion. If we wished to conquer Earth, we would have opened fire immediately, Vasquez replied calmly. Instead, we're offering our knowledge and assistance. Verify our data. Send a delegation to the Aurora. But do it quickly. We have less than 3 weeks to prepare Earth's defenses. After hours of debate, the Security Council agreed to send a multinational team to the Aurora. General Wei would lead the American contingent, joined by representatives from Russia, China, the European Union, and India. Commander Elena Reyes, who had first spotted the vessel, was included for her observational skills. The delegation departed from the International Space Station 12 hours later. As their shuttle approached the massive warship, Elena couldn't help but marvel at its design. It was beautiful in its way, deadly and efficient, like a predator evolved for space combat. The shuttle docked with surprising ease, as if the Aurora's systems were designed to accommodate their primitive craft. When the airlock opened, they were greeted by Captain Vasquez herself, flanked by a small group of officers. Up close, Elena could see the toll that combat had taken on these people, scars both visible and hidden, the haunted look of those who had seen too much death. "Welcome aboard the Aurora," Vasquez said. "I understand your skepticism and caution. In your position, I would feel the same." That's why I'll be giving you complete access to our ship, our records, and our technology. As the delegation toured the vessel, the evidence became overwhelming. The Aurora contained technology decades or centuries beyond current capabilities, yet with recognizably human design principles. Historical records detailed events that had not yet occurred. Most convincing were the personal logs of the crew. Raw, emotional accounts of Earth's desperate fight against an implacable enemy. In the ship's tactical center, they received their first glimpse of the swarm. Holographic projections showed bizarre, insectoid vessels that seemed more organic than mechanical, moving with unsettling coordination. They don't use radio communications or any electromagnetic signals we can detect, explained Commander Takai, the Aurora's tactical officer. They coordinate through some kind of quantum entanglement. That's one reason they were so difficult to fight. We couldn't intercept their communications or predict their movements. Elena studied the swarm vessels. What are their weaknesses? Takai gave her an appraising look. They're highly adaptive, but their core biology remains constant. Their ships are partially organic and vulnerable to certain frequencies of energy weapons. We spent years developing effective countermeasures, which we've brought back with us. General Wei had remained largely silent during the tour, observing and processing. Now he turned to Vasquez. If we accept your story and your help, what exactly do you propose we do? Earth has no unified military, no space combat capability comparable to yours. The Aurora will be humanity's shield, Vasquez replied. But we need Earth's nations to work together. We need resources to modify your existing defense systems with our technology. And we need a crew. Our journey back in time cost us many lives. You want us to send people to serve on this ship? The Russian representative asked incredulously. The Aurora was designed for a crew of 300. We have 78. We can train your people quickly using our neural interface systems, but we need them soon. Elena found herself volunteering before she had fully processed the thought. I'll serve. We shot her a warning look, but she stood her ground. Sir, if this threat is real, they need experienced pilots. I'm one of the best we have. Other members of the delegation began to discuss logistics, politics, verification procedures. But Elena's mind was already racing ahead. If Vasquez was telling the truth, and every instinct told Elena she was, then humanity was facing its greatest challenge, and she had just volunteered for the front lines. Back on Earth, as data from the Aurora was verified by independent scientists, the reality of the situation began to sink in. National leaders addressed their populations, attempting to convey the gravity of the threat without causing panic. Some nations immediately pledged cooperation. Others remained suspicious of the Aurora and its crew. At NORAD, now serving as the primary coordination center for Earth's defense preparations, General Wei faced the monumental task of preparing for an enemy no one had ever seen, using technology no one fully understood. The swarm will emerge from faster-than-light travel near Jupiter's orbit, Vasquez explained during a planning session. Their standard procedure is to establish a beachhead in the outer solar system, then launch overwhelming force toward the inhabited planets. How much time will we have once they arrive? Wei asked. In our General Wei, observing from a designated area for the Earth delegation, watched as the crew, a mix of Aurora veterans and newly trained Earth personnel, responded with practiced efficiency. Commander Elena Reyes sat at the auxiliary flight control, her fingers moving across Elena acknowledged the command and designated 2 pairs of shuttles to the new mission. Her own craft twisted through the void, dodging energy pulses from a swarm scout while her weapons systems recharge. The neural interface translated her thoughts into actions faster than conscious control could have managed, but the strain was intense. Sweat beaded on her forehead, despite the shuttle's perfect environmental control. Talon 3, Watcher 6, she called out as a swarm vessel maneuvered behind one of her squad mates. Too late. The enemy fired, its weapon not a beam or projectile, but some kind of energy field that enveloped the human shuttle. The craft's systems flickered, then went dark. Talon 3 is hit, Elena reported. No signs of operation. They're not destroying it, Takai observed from the Aurora. They're studying it. This is new behavior. The implications sent a chill through the command staff. The swarm wasn't just attacking blindly. It was analyzing human technology, adapting its strategy based on what it learned. On Earth, the modified defense network detected the battle unfolding near Jupiter. News spread rapidly despite governmental attempts to control information. Social media erupted with real-time updates, some accurate, many wildly speculative. In crisis centers worldwide, leaders watched helplessly as humanity's fate was decided hundreds of millions of kilometers away. The Aurora surged forward, its main batteries firing continuously now. The massive warship positioned itself between the swarm's main force and their path to Earth, becoming a wall of technology and human determination. Their numbers are greater than our historical records indicated, Vasquez noted with concern. Either our intelligence was incomplete, or something has changed in the timeline. Wei's tactical mind analyzed the patterns. They're concentrating fire on your port quadrant. They've identified a weakness. Not a weakness, Takai corrected. That section houses our temporal drive components. Somehow they've detected the technology that brought us here. Elena's squadron continued to harry the smaller swarm vessels, preventing them from coordinating effectively with the main force. But the toll was mounting. 3 shuttles lost now, their pilots' fates unknown. Talon leader to Aurora. Elena transmitted, "We can't hold them much longer. Request new instructions." Before Vasquez could respond, the tactical display shifted dramatically. The swarm vessels suddenly broke their attack pattern, regrouping into a defensive formation. "What are they doing?" Wei asked. The answer came in the form of another spatial distortion, larger than the first. The fabric of space-time folded and tore, revealing a massive object emerging from the void. A swarm vessel dwarfing all the others, its surface crawling with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed with alien intelligence. "Mothership," Vasquez whispered. "They didn't deploy one in our timeline until much later in the conflict." The tactical implications were clear. This wasn't just an advanced scouting force or initial attack wave. This was a major swarm deployment, perhaps their equivalent of a flagship. "All units, fall back to defensive positions," Vasquez ordered. "Talon Squadron, return to the Aurora immediately." As Elena's shuttle raced back toward the warship, she watched in horror as the swarm mothership began to emit some kind of energy field. It expanded outward, washing over the smaller swarm vessels, which seemed to absorb the energy and grow more active. "They're being enhanced," Takai reported. Power signatures increasing across all enemy units. The Aurora's weapons continued to fire, but the swarm vessels now moved with uncanny speed, evading the energy beams that had been so effective minutes before. Return fire struck the Aurora's shields, which flickered under the assault. "Shield capacity at 70% and dropping," reported Lieutenant Park. "This level of coordination exceeds anything in our combat records." Vasquez made a decision. "Activate the Nexus Protocol." We looked up sharply. "The what?" "It wasn't in the briefing materials," Vasquez admitted. "The Nexus Protocol was experimental technology, still classified even in our time. It's why we needed Earth personnel integrated with our systems." As Elena's shuttle docked with the Aurora, she received a direct neural command that bypassed normal communication channels. The instructions filtered directly into her consciousness, explaining what she needed to do. All around the ship, the other Earth personnel who had undergone neural training received similar instructions. "General," Vasquez explained as the ship shuddered under another hit, "the Aurora isn't just a warship. It's a neural nexus point, designed to amplify human thought patterns into a tactical network. Unlike the swarm's hive mind, ours maintains individual consciousness while allowing instantaneous coordination." "You're creating a human hive mind?" Wei asked, appalled. Not exactly. More like a symphony where each player maintains their part while contributing to something greater. It was developed in the final years of our war, when we realized conventional tactics couldn't match the swarm's coordination. Throughout the ship, Earth personnel connected to interface points. Elena found hers in the shuttle bay, placing her palm against a pulsing panel that seemed to recognize her touch. Around the solar system, the modified Earth defense systems activated previously dormant components, linking to the network forming aboard the Aurora. Wei watched in amazement as the tactical display transformed. What had been chaos resolved into patterns of light and data that somehow conveyed more information than mere visuals should allow. He could almost feel the network forming. Human minds linked across vast distances, yet remaining distinct. Shield failure imminent, Park warned. Not today, Vask said with sudden confidence. Nexus protocol fully activated. All units, coordinated response. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Aurora's weapons fire became precise in a way that transcended normal targeting capabilities, striking swarm vessels at exactly the right moments to disrupt their formations. The combat shuttles, relaunched under neural guidance, moved in perfect harmony, anticipating enemy movements before they occurred. On Earth, the modified defense grid came fully online. Satellites that had seemed dormant suddenly activated, emitting precisely calibrated energy fields that created a protective bubble around the planet. The swarm mothership directed its attention toward the Aurora. Sensing the threat this new coordination posed, it unleashed a massive energy surge that struck the warship directly, overloading several systems and sending cascades of sparks across the bridge. Hull breach on decks 6 through 9, reported an officer. Emergency containment holding. Through the neural network, Elena felt the damage as if it were an injury to her own body, but she also sensed something else, a pattern in the swarm's attacks, a rhythm that could be predicted and countered. Captain, she transmitted, her thoughts flowing directly into the tactical network. There's a flaw in their coordination. The smaller vessels have to reset their attack patterns every 42 seconds to resynchronize with the mothership. Vasquez received the insight through the network, understanding immediately. All units, coordinated strike on my mark. Target all weapons on the designated coordinates during the reset window. The human forces, linked through the Nexus protocol, counted down in perfect synchronization. When the moment came, every weapon across the Aurora, the shuttle squadron, and Earth's defense grid fired simultaneously at the same precise point on the swarm mothership. The combined energy penetrated the alien vessel's defenses, striking deep into what appeared to be a central command node. The effect rippled outward, disrupting the coordination of the entire swarm fleet. Smaller vessels suddenly moved erratically, some colliding with each other, others firing weapons in random directions. It worked, Wei exclaimed. Their network is disrupted. Press the advantage, Vasquez ordered. All units, target the disorganized vessels while they're vulnerable. The battle turned decisively. Without their perfect coordination, the swarm vessels were still dangerous, but no longer presented an overwhelming threat. One by one, they were destroyed or disabled by the combined human forces. The mothership, its command functions severely damaged, attempted to retreat toward the spatial rift it had emerged from. The Aurora pursued, relentless in its attack. The massive alien vessel shuddered under continuous bombardment, its bioluminescent patterns flickering like a dying heartbeat. With a final concentrated barrage, the Aurora's main batteries struck the mothership's propulsion systems. The alien vessel lost control, spinning slowly as secondary explosions rippled across its surface. Then, in a blinding flash that temporarily overwhelmed all sensors, it self-destructed. The remaining swarm vessels, cut off from their command structure, fell into disarray. Some fled toward the outer solar system, pursued by Earth's defense craft. Others attempted to continue the attack, but were easily picked off by the coordinated human forces. 3 hours after the swarm's arrival, the battle was over. The spatial rift collapsed in on itself, cutting off any reinforcements that might have been waiting on the other side. On the Aurora's bridge, exhausted crew members cheered as the tactical display confirmed their victory. The neural network gently disengaged, leaving behind a lingering sense of connection that gradually faded. Elena made her way to the bridge, still processing what she had experienced. The neural interface had shown her possibilities beyond anything she had imagined, not just for warfare, but for human cooperation and understanding. "We did it," she said to Vasquez as she entered. "We actually did it." The captain nodded, her expression a mix of triumph and somber reflection. "We won this battle. The war may be just beginning." General Wade joined them, studying the tactical data showing the few remaining swarm vessels being pursued to the edges of the solar system. "You've given us a decisive victory, Captain. Earth owes you and your crew a debt we can never repay." "This timeline is already fundamentally different from ours," Vasquez replied. "In our history, the first swarm attack devastated Earth's major cities. Billions died before humanity even understood what they were fighting. What happens now?" Elena asked. "Do you return to your time?" Vasquez shook her head. The temporal drive was a one-way journey. "This is our time now, for better or worse." Wei considered the implications. "The technology you've brought, the neural interface, your advanced weapons, the FTL drive. It will transform our civilization." "That's what we're counting on," Vasquez said. "In our timeline, humanity eventually developed the technology to fight the swarm effectively, but too late to save Earth. This time, we'll be ready when they return, and they will return." Elena looked out at the stars visible through the bridge viewport. The same stars she had known all her life, now revealed as a battlefield in a war that spanned time itself. If they do come back, they'll find a humanity united and prepared. In the weeks that followed, the Aurora became the center of a new Earth defense initiative. The ship's technology was carefully studied and adapted, accelerating human development by decades. The neural interface system, refined and expanded, became a tool not just for military coordination, but for scientific research, medical breakthroughs, and a new form of global communication. Nations that had been on the brink of conflict found themselves working together against a common threat. Resources once devoted to arms races were redirected to space exploration and defense. Earth's first true interplanetary fleet began construction, with the Aurora as its flagship. Captain Vasquez and her crew from the future integrated into this new society, bringing their knowledge and experience to guide humanity's preparation. Commander Elena Reyes became the first leader of Earth's Neural Command, training a new generation of officers in the technology that had saved their world. And somewhere in the vast darkness beyond the solar system, the remnants of the swarm regrouped and evolved, preparing for another attempt. But this time, when they returned, they would find not an unsuspecting planet ripe for harvest, but a humanity transformed, united, advanced, and ready to defend its place in the universe. As Elena stood on the observation deck of the new lunar base, watching the Earth rise over the crater rim, she thought about the strange twist of fate that had brought the Aurora across time to save them all. The future was unwritten now, different from the dark timeline Vasquez and her crew had fled. Whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them together. And somewhere in that new future, Elena believed, the stars themselves would learn to fear what humanity could accomplish when united against a common threat.